And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Web3 Optimizations. We want more for you than from you at the end of the day, and helping you understand the future's already here. And if you don't know, we're having an amazing conversation, as always, in our weekly events that we have on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. from our How to Future, or should I say Hack the Future with AI, Metaverse, FinTech, where we talk about these things, and we encourage you guys to come and join these amazing conversations and be a part of these conversations where we talk about the future and we talk about, all these things as a business owner, that you just shouldn't just have your head in the sand, but really paying attention to how everything's moving and grooving. And it's not going to be a slow pace as we moved within the Web 2 space. So I was just in a room with Any talking about dial-up, and people were talking about, Facebook and Instagram, and how all these channels used to be, dancing platforms, where now we're literally on it, such as LinkedIn, building our business. At one point in time, people considered LinkedIn for the kids, and they were on there dancing and playing around, and boom, you're on here, promoting your business, especially when we talk about social audio rooms and things of that sort. But today, don't let me get carried away on Hack the Future. But today we're having an amazing conversation of brain candy, sweet treats for the soul.
You get carried away? No.
I do not. And so today we're really going to be talking about, the expectations in life that we all have. And the great thing about this is that we want you guys to be open and vulnerable, about these types of conversations, of really understanding the realistic goals that we set for other people, what we expect other people to do that we don't do, right? And accepting the uncertainty. A lot of the times we expect people to do the things that we want them to do, how we want them to do, in this order, from this way to that way. And it really doesn't do us any justice. And then even more importantly, where you focus your effort at. Do you want to be rich? Do you want to be right? How does that really play out, in your overall energy and vibration throughout the day? Because a lot of the times we get upset and we get frustrated at why people didn't do this, why people didn't do that. And it just becomes this ongoing conversation, internally. Give me some emojis if you feel that, right? And really be able to understand that, hey, I got to practice more gratitude. And this is really why we're having this conversation, and why it's called, brain candy and sweet treats for the soul, is for us to practice gratitude. Because you guys all know that, when we do go into social audio rooms or we have these conversations, it's really about raising your vibration and helping you understand that you are the baddest mofo on planet Earth. You're literally 1 millimeter away from being an ant, an elephant, a cricket, a mice, a bird that our cat just caught and put it, in the bathroom, saying welcome him back to, the cat being in Mexico. And so, just understand the gratitude that you should have in life, because a lot of people aren't gonna, make it to bed today. A lot of people didn't wake up with their significant other next to them today. And unfortunately, this is where we have to understand that, every second we get with ourselves, more importantly, and with our loved ones counts. You might not get tomorrow. And so really communicating, being patient, right? Learn from these disappointments so they don't continue to be a disappointment. And then, just having self-compassion at the end of the day, of really being able to understand how our expectations gets us in trouble. And that really goes back down to what we talked about beforehand, right? Your traumas, your dramas, your patterns, and your programs of how you deal with things, and the internal dialogue that you have with yourself on conversations, and not even conversations, things that other people do in their lives, right? And the internal conversation that we have with ourselves, that it always being something different, or there being some misinformation, or something that the other person might not have looked at, or viewed it from that standpoint, that gets us in a world of trouble. expectations and assumptions are horrible in a way. They will make an ass out of you and me, you expecting something and me assuming something.
Yeah, absolutely. And, expectations fall into two silos, communicated and non-communicated.
Mhm.
So, the reason why we share that and say that is that on the communication level, that, it's communicated or not communicated, is because that's where, communication comes down to being the key solution to managing expectations. We have learned this the hard way. We will speak only from our own experiences, that we used to allow assumptions to get the best of us, and jumping to assumptions and to conclusions, and then running with that conclusion and that story, and then living in a world that didn't even happen. And that is what happens to 99% of people. We make assumptions. That is just what is so. And so it really comes down to understanding that in the mix of things, that you realize ownership. I know it's the hardest pill to swallow,
Ooh.
but it is ownership.
Ooh. Did you say that word?
It's extreme ownership. If you will check out the book by Jocko and Liam, Jocko we always butcher this, but their first names is Jocko and Liam. They're Navy SEALs, and they, at the end of the day, led platoons and led other people. And they realized that if anything ever happened to the people that they were leading, regardless if they directly caused it or not, it was always their ownership of their life. Like, that was extreme ownership that they had to take, that if that person made it or didn't make it, was harmed or not harmed, they were the ones at ownership of it, the basis of the ownership. And so that is a really tough pill to swallow, because as humans, we have not been nurtured to be able to take a raw, real look at oneself and say, hey, I'm not doing this so well. I do this really good, but I don't really do this really good. Or this seems to always kind of get underneath my skin. If a person says this, or if they, waste my time or lie to me, this gets under my skin. And then I have a hard time being able to even be with that person, like talk or communicate or do business, whatever that relationship looks like, right? So those silos of communicated expectations and uncommunicated expectations is really where to get into the communicated side. Because if you communicate your expectations, then you will see that most people will try their darndest, their best, to meet those expectations if you have communicated to them in a positive manner that is encouraging and reinforcing with positive affirmations behind it, right? So what I mean by that is, hey, today is a great conversation. I'm going to, may I use the shower conversation that I shared earlier as an example?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Here's a prime example.
Because it's not always about business.
It's not always
right?
about business. And I can only talk about us because I live us.
Well, and not only that, that's something that we share with people all the time, is that how you communicate in your personal life is also how you communicate in your business life.
Yes.
Because so often, I know for myself, speaking for myself only, right, that I was always told, well, you can separate the two, right? Separate the two. And it's like, you really can't. Your energy, your vibration plays out the same. It's not like you play two different people. But go ahead. What's our example?
Yeah, so a real life example that happened today is, as I shared at the beginning of this room, we're back in Mexico. So we have left the States. We're back in Mexico. We're back, Jack. And where we stay at in Mexico is like a combination of outdoor, indoor living. And so our kitchen, our living space slash office space, and our bedroom all open up to a common patio between for just our unit, right? And so if I want to go to the kitchen, I have to walk outside of the office or the bedroom and walk out in the elements to the kitchen. So it's outdoor, indoor living. So with that said, there's two restrooms on this level because one's in the bathroom slash office area. I'm sorry, the office area, and one's in the bedroom area. And so usually David, will has shared to me like, hey, I like your shower better. Your shower works better. And so I'm going to use your shower if that's okay. He made that statement today. And I had
She
to
cringed.
I had to take a breath. And I thought for a second before I had a conniption, and I thought, okay, this is fine, but I need to communicate to him why I do not like sharing a restroom with Mr. Jones, and that why it's nice that we have two bathrooms on this floor so he can have one and I can have one. And so I was, instead of getting upset because of, him wanting and me feeling like he's invading my bathroom space, I chose to say, let me communicate my expectations instead of having an unexpected expectation of what's going to happen, because this is why we don't share a bathroom. And I will share why in a moment. It's not bad. But at the end of the day, I chose to communicate instead of getting upset. And so the communication was, I said, I do not mind sharing a bathroom with you, Mr. Jones. However, may I speak freely about how I feel about when we share a restroom and what gets on my nerves? And he says, yes, you may. I said, okay. So I absolutely, it drives me bonkers. And you guys are going to laugh because it's not even the toilet seat lid up. Doesn't bother me, the toilet seat lid up. He has to put it up when he goes to the restroom. I got to put it down when I go to the restroom. I am not on the toilet seat bandwagon. But Mr. Jones acts like a 3-year-old boy some days when he gets out of the shower completely wet and will run through the bathroom and out to the bedroom to find whatever he's looking for, a towel, his sweats, whatever it is, half dry off, and there are puddles of water everywhere. And I mean everywhere. And so when we share restrooms, it always annoys the ever-loving self out of me that there are water puddles everywhere, and you go in to use the restroom and you about slip to break your neck because there is a whole bathtub of water outside of the shower. And so I simply said, you in the water, and we laughed about that. I said, it drives me crazy. And that is why I like having my own bathroom. And you leave your stuff everywhere on the floor. And so I said, here's what, if we share a restroom, here's what it will be. Can you help clear, wipe the water up after you go splish splash everywhere? And can you pick up your dirty clothes for getting in the shower after you get done and put them in the laundry basket? That's the only two things I need while we share a restroom together. Does that work? And he said, yeah, love, I can do that. And he then shared, well, after coming from your mom's house and, having to make sure to pick up after myself, I can understand. I'll be better. And I'll be better to make sure the bathroom is left how I like it as well. And so I share that analogy with you guys because that was a real life conversation that David and I had today. It is about communicating those expectations instead of getting upset, laughing about it because it is pretty funny, but it does get on my ever-loving nerves. And the good thing is that I do things that give on David's nerves, and he communicates that to me when I do in a kind, peaceful manner. And so that is what we talk about when it comes down to expectations. Are they communicated? Are they not communicated? So we're going to take a little pause right there.
Hold on, no,
and let you respond was what I was going to say. Yes.
Mind you, you failed to forget that you left for about a good 7 weeks. So I had this bathroom nice and clean to myself. So now that we're back and she's back, now all of a sudden you reclaiming the bathroom.
Yes,
that you
that
left.
was mine.
Oh yeah, and mind you, remember you were using the upstairs shower for a hot minute, so you technically have 2 bathrooms.
I do. There are 4 bathrooms in this house, by the way, guys.
And you're claiming 2 of them. One of them we don't even much use.
Well, you can have the bottom downstairs.
Oh. Oh, okay. But anyhow, yes, but that's so true. And handling expectations is
because this used to be a fight.
It would have been a fight and not only a fight, it would have irritated you, like you shared with me. Why is, hey, when I go take a bath, I like for my bathroom to be clean and it not for it to be messy and stuff. And when your ass leave there with it, being beauty and the beast, with the water and everything, around the bathroom, it doesn't come off right
everywhere.
And I said, okay, I can be one with that. I mean, she over exaggerates when she says water everywhere. Anyhow, I ain't got no hair. So
that's what I don't understand.
So anyhow, this is where it's just having a clear conversation.
And someone would say, do you put a bath mat down? Oh yeah. It's soaked.
No, it's not. Anyhow, moving on to the next topic. What would you like to talk about? What would be the next topic?
Well, it is the fact that out of those two silos of the communicated and not communicated expectations, we get into the simple fact of 99% of the time we're in our head and we have certain ways of living. We have, certain things that just, work or don't work for us. And so a part of this conversation that we decided to have today came around because David and I just spent 90 days back in Idaho, and David just spent 6 weeks. So out of the 12 weeks, he was there 6 weeks of the 12 weeks that I was there. And, that for first and foremost was and has been the longest time I've spent with my family in the past 25 years, about 25 years. Because I have lived out of the state most of my adult life, all my adult life, that I have not been around my family for longer than a week or 2 weeks at a time. And about that time, a week or 2 weeks, you're about ready to go because you're getting on my ever-loving nerve. And so this time went up for a lot longer just to spend some time, hang out. And it really was a great trip. And of course, people get on your nerves. Yeah. Of course, I get on people's nerves. That's just what happens.
I plead the fifth.
Of course, you have times that you're having a grand time. There's fun things done too. Of course, you're handling, business and whatnot. Yep. So there's all these dynamics. And, mom, was gone for 30 days. And I was sharing that story at the very beginning of this conversation. What inspired this conversation was my mom came home after 30 days traveling in Northern Europe. She did 3 weeks on a cruise ship. And she shared with me that I just need to manage my expectations better. And that, she said, shared with us, that was partly because of David and I, sharing with her what we've learned through our journey of managing our expectations. And listening to, how many times I've called my mom and, talking about things. And even when she got home from her trip, talking to her about things that was going on within the family dynamics. And just sharing with her point blank, that those were my unexpected expectations that were at play. And that once I realized that I was having a whole conversation in my head and wanting things to be done my way and not communicating them to anybody that was involved or involved in the upset that was going on in my head, then I had to stop and realize that, look, You are having your own unexpected expectations around a situation, and you are the one that is creating your own, state of pissed offness, just being mad and not being at peace. And so, really, when my mom came home and shared that, and it was because of, us sharing with her, it was a great growth moment, right? We always want the best for the people we love, especially your immediate family, but you can't do it for them. And a lot of times I would have conversations with my mom or my brother while back home, and I would just see how expectations that were never communicated to a party or several parties, and living in the world of you should just know that, like the whole, how many proverbial times have we heard men say, oh, women just expect us to read their minds and they don't tell us what's going on. And I see so many interactions that happen that way, both ways. It's not men or women one way or the other, it's humans. We have this unexpected way of being that we just expect people, when they come into our realm, to know how to speak to us, to know how to act, to know how to, conduct their body language, how to clean up after themselves. We just have these expectations that are never communicated. And then we get in a complete upset because people are not doing as you wish, and you haven't explained it to them. You haven't taken a moment out to say, hey, Mr. Jones, I don't mind sharing a bathroom with you, but if we do you mind helping out with keeping the water cleaned up after you get done? Communicating that instead of agreeing to, yes, we can share a bathroom, knowing what aggravates me, and not choosing not to communicate to him, just expecting him to know, if you are sharing a bathroom, keep it picked up so it's clean for anybody that comes in there to use it next. And with that stated, then we live in the world of, no, you're just supposed to know that. And then he goes in there, and the first shower he takes, and it's a mess, and I come in there and about bust my neck. What's going to ensue? An upset, being pissed off, being mad. And because I lived in a world of, he should know that he's sharing a bathroom, that's just common knowledge, that's common courtesy. And instead saying, no, I don't mind, but can we address the situation of what kind of gets on my nerves when we do share? And then now he's aware. And because he's aware, he has a choice to say, well, I don't mind sharing a bathroom with Tara, and she's asked if I could do these things. Yes, I can do these things. Or no, I don't want to do these things. And if that's the case, then at the end of the day, he's choosing how he wants to handle the situation. And then if it's not done that way, I can say, hey, just FYI, the bathroom is a little bit slippery, slidey. The water's not picked up. Can you be mindful of that and have that conversation again? And it doesn't warrant us to lose our ever-loving marbles. Don't stop getting mad because we're not communicating. And just to share that back to this, there were so many times, and I love my family, and you know what? This is what they get for being my family. Is they get to be the test dummies, as we say. But I watched my brother a lot of times have unexpected expectations about lots of things, life, business, just multitude of things that happen in life, and not communicating, but expecting people just to get it, and just to, and then getting upset when it's not communicated, and living in the world of, you should know that. And it's like, no, I don't know that. If you would just communicate that to me, I could have taken care of it that way. And then watching him live in the world of communication's key, but he hasn't figured out that he's not communicating fully, but he's expecting others around him to communicate. And I only know that because I had to take a serious look at myself and saying, well, are you communicating when you see things like that happen? So over to you, Mr. Jones. What do you want to add to that?
No, you're spot on that, this being a time, of going back home and being around family as a grown adult, as a person that's, changed their mindset and got rid of, some of those generational habits, and more so maybe aware of them. It's more so bringing them back around of how they play out, and also always understanding that we always have room to work. We always have room to look at how we are expecting life and how we are perceiving things, just because other people see them differently. And we have to be able to love people for who they are and what they are, with grace and kindness. And, there's also that, leave button, or, love you from afar, and all of those things, but also under, respecting your boundaries and understanding your boundaries as well, right at the end of the day. And so, go ahead. What you got?
Well, to add on to that, and
Yeah.
and talking about like family dynamics and then also business dynamics, right?
Mhm.
We, when we're back in Mexico, we're back into a culture who is multicultural, multi generational in one under one roof,
Mhm.
and so you have grandparents and parents and kids and aunts and uncles and cousins and all that living within the same family, community, whether that's a house or on the same property, and living in close proximity, I should say.
Mhm.
And you have to, stop and say, well, they're able to get along and have been able to, because this is just what it is of the culture for them to be very multi-generational under one roof. And this is what, each generation's born into. So this is natural. And then coming down to understanding that, for instance, I haven't been around my family like what we just experienced for
Mhm.
the last, 25 years, and realizing that, how those dynamics change as you're, in or not in your with your family, and so it just is really intriguing at the end of the day, that we all get to have those times that together where you get to learn and grow, and instead of being in an upset because things didn't happen the way that you wanted them to happen, or someone didn't say something that you wanted them to say or do, that you stop and say, it's okay. That's my unexpected expectation. Did I communicate it? No. Do I wish to communicate it? Yes or no. And if no, then how how are you going to be with it and live with it if you chose not to communicate it to that person so they can try their best to work with it?
Yeah.
So, but with that said, we want to welcome everybody in. It's been a great conversation so far. Hi, Miss Lisa. It's so good to see you, beautiful. Hey, Miss Leah, our newest Business in a Box member, who we just got hers finished. You guys go out to leahgarcia.io and check that out. It's pretty fancy. I was one of my favorites of building. So thank you, Miss Leah. Had such a great time doing that. Miss Gertrude over here on Clubhouse. It's so good to see you, beautiful. I have a funny story, Miss Gertrude. My mom, when she was naming me, said that the two names that she was going to name me was either Tara, which is what my name is today, or Gertrude. And she said, and I would have called you Gertie for short. And so it's very good to see you, ma'am. That whenever I see that name, it makes me think of that story. And so, beautiful story, beautiful thing. And so over here we have everybody that is on X and Twitch that's with us, as well as Instagram and Facebook, and everybody that is omnipresent through our metaverse. We have a couple of extra people that have jumped in here, so it's great to see those people. But with that said, Miss Leah, Miss Lisa, you guys would like to come up? Gertrude, you're more than welcome to come up and have a conversation and jump in on this conversation with us. But if not, Mr. Jones, I would love to hear from you about unexpected expectations and family dynamics.
Oh my goodness.
Because you have had a different experience. Here.
Well, when we talk about expectations, especially, from a family, standpoint, we expect our family to grow and to see things the way that we see things, or the way that we've developed and the way that we've grown. Because at the end of the day, we all go on these different journeys and these paths in our lives. And because we experience something, just because we talk about it or we share it with somebody, or we want somebody else to see something that we've seen, they might not want to see it that way. And that's what happened, a lot, within our journey of building our business, that it was okay that, we had, everything and anything, and was living for the weekend. And, we had friends galore. But, when we changed our tune and really start looking at how we were, treating ourselves and our body and living for the weekend and just doing all crazy stuff, we lost friends when we said, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. We're really going to, focus on our business. No, we can't go out on the weekend. No, sorry, family, I can't do this. No, I can't go golfing as much. No, I can't, do these things because I'm dedicated to that. You get the side eye shoulder. You get those things. And, eventually, a lot of us, call those people the haters that show up in our family and our friends. But at the end of the day, you've just outgrown those people. And that's okay. And we have to, not have these high expectations of how other people are supposed to react. And trust me, it takes and it took a long time for me and Tara to understand, other people's expectations and how they live their life and how we were living ours, and just really being okay with that. At the end of the day, we really have to allow people to be people, and we have to let people, share their experiences how they want to share it. And I think that's one of the things, while we were up in Idaho, you know, a lot of politics came into, the story. Like one time, one person asked, what are you? Out the gate, not knowing this person's name, not knowing where they were from, not knowing Adam or Eve, just what you voting for. And it was like, wow, the expectations that people have. And this is what determines how we think about people. And this is why I know for myself, we cannot have these expectations. And even more, right? I'll share the story with you guys. We flew back on Monday, and we flew from Boise to Dallas, and then we had a flight from Dallas to Leon, Mexico. And we have first class, and me and Tara are boarding the flight. And now they have this new facial recognition that you have to go through, where they don't need your ticket, they don't need your scan, they don't need none of that. They look at your face. And this is why we continue to share with you guys, the future's already here. This paper and even these flight attendants and the gate agents, they're gone. They're not going to need them anymore, especially with this system that they just had up. And so I'm starting to walk through the skywalk, and all of a sudden I hear, sir, can you come back, sir? And all of a sudden I'm thinking she has to be talking to me, because I'm like the last person that just went through. This lady calls me back to the front of where you board the plane, where the gate agent has their desk and the gate, right, the door. And she says, I don't know if your bag fits. Does it fit? And so I literally put my bag in there, and it fit like no other, because it fit in the other one beforehand. She said, well, I'm not too sure about this top portion comes off. And I'm like, that's not the regulations, coming from a guy that's taken 500 flights with American Airlines with this same bag. And it's nowhere near packed as I've had it packed in the past. And so like her expectation was for me to check my bag. And I'm like, well, this is so inappropriate. Why didn't you ask me this before I went through the walkway, and you're just now coming up, doing this.
You were the first one also getting on the plane, and they said they were only going to have people check their bags if they were out of room.
Yeah, if they were out of room. And so, mind you, we're first class. You don't mess with the first class passengers at that. And so she's hounding me about checking my bag. And I'm like, here. She's like, what seat are you in? I'm like, 3B. I'm like, do you need anything else? This lady ignores me, like doesn't say a single word after that. And like her boss walks up and he says, well, she got it checked. I'm like, do you see she's not going to say a word? And at this point, I could have argued. I could have, been, mad, belligerent, upset, but expectations. I'm expecting this lady to, not be that much of a stickler, to a first class, client. And the flight's not even full, especially when we get on the flight and there's 6 open first class seats, like, and there's 2 open bins at the top. Like, why are you making this a big ordeal? And this was a prime example of expectations that we have for other people and how we expect people to be. And she could have been, mad that me and Tara were interracial. She could have been mad that, we had Papa Do's, to go bag, and she was hungry and she wanted our to go bag. She could have been mad.
She could have been mad at her husband that day and just took it out on
Yeah,
us.
she could have been mad at anything and everything and just took it out on us. And these are the expectations that we expect other people to treat us with courtesy, but you cannot expect that. Which is why, I just said, hey, you done what you're doing, and walked on the flight and just kept moving. Because I'm not going to be a part of her problem, or for her to continue to be in the mood that she's in to then say something out of line that I can't get on the flight, or, her, not put my bag on the flight, which I had to check with the flight attendant to make sure she did. They even got to the point where they wanted to threaten the flight attendant about asking about our bag, and the captain almost got off the flight too because they told the flight attendant, oh, we don't talk to customers about their luggage. And it just became a whole huge debacle. So I shared that story with having you all, understand that expectations are across the board depending on how we feel, which is why we continue to remind you guys, all is one. We're all in this together. And if we all could come to a common sense, which is a great dream for us to understand, common sense is common for a reason, that just to let people be and to not be that so much of, that evil, just the energy and vibration that she brought to it, was crazy. And then, me expecting Tara to stay up there and helping. Tara is already on the plane, like, oh, I guess he can handle it.
Well, because at that point, it comes down to the simple fact of, like you said, you can allow someone to steal your energy, or you can just move on. They're going to be set in their ways.
Yeah.
You can sit there and argue with someone, or you can move on.
Well, that's what she wanted.
And that's what she wanted, was us to sit around and argue with her. And I'm going to go get on the plane. You know where you're going. And us both up there arguing with her is not going to help the situation. And so again, you choose to manage your expectation level. I can expect this woman to change her mind. That's not going to happen. The situations that's at hand. We've had that happen to us countless times. It's too many times to count, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Especially with you taking 500 flights, and you even sharing with me multiple times that if you wore a suit while you were traveling, you got respect. If you showed up in your jeans and your loafers and a nice sweater to travel, you were, disrespected. And it was amazing that just walking through the airport, and of those 500 flights that you took for, corporate America, 3/4 of them were first class because of your standings with American Airlines, and you could upgrade. And how many times people would just say, why are you in the first class line?
Yeah.
And didn't even ask, are you first class? Just asking, why are you there? And it's like, because I'm first class. And so it comes down to those expectation levels of managing who you're going to give your power to when a situation like that happens that's outside of your control. You're not going to change their opinion. You're not going to, change the power trip that they're having, or whatever's going on in her life. You are not going to change the outcome. And so at that point, we have to stop and say, cool, not a problem, but we're not going to change our energy and who we are and what we are and how we handle ourselves because someone is in a funky type of way, and that's what it is. And so that comes down to mastering, learning unexpected expectations versus expectations that have been communicated? Have you communicated those expectations? If so, then how do you continue to make sure you keep those boundaries so it doesn't turn into a bigger upset,
And it's also the energy that we bring to the table
Yes.
when we do communicate, right? Yep. Like earlier you said, you could have went off the Richter scale and said, no, because you leave my shit dirty and I don't want you being in there. And no, you go back to your own, right? And it's the energy and vibration that we bring to it where we have to take responsibility, as you said beforehand, extreme ownership of, hey, how am I showing up?
Yeah.
Right. What am I being the typical way of me being? And, maybe I'm not in a good mood, or maybe it's that time of the month, or whatever the case may be. How are you showing up? And that's really what matters first, is the energy that you give is the energy that you get.
Well, and that's like, for instance, spending so much time with my mom, before you got there, I was with my mom every day, day in and day out. And, you don't realize how someone is until you're with them all the time. Even though they raised you and you were with them for 18, 20 years, they're different because of time, right? The evolution of time. And, one thing that I finally told my mom was, Mom, you are so pessimistic and you're such a skeptic. Yeah. Like, you are skeptical of everything and everyone, and you are such a pessimistic. The glass is half empty in your eyes. And I said, what happened? Why does that show up? And when we got to talking about it, one of the things we identified was that's survival. Mm-hmm. It was to be skeptical of things so you don't fall for, somebody, getting one over on you, taking advantage of you. Mm-hmm. Especially for those that don't know, my dad has been gone for 15 years. So she's lived on her own for the last 15 years. And to be very frank, has been very independent since her dad died at the age of 8. And so, she's always kind of been skeptical of people naturally, just because of whatever's going on there. It's her survival mechanism. And then pessimistic is, so my mom, where we live, is not such a great area for internet. And I convinced my mom that she needed to check out the Starlink because she was, tired. Every day she was griping about the old internet. It was slow. It was constantly going out. And so I finally was like, Mom, just need to upgrade. You need to get a Starlink. That's the only thing out here that's really going to work and give you extremely, fast download speeds so you can stream your phone, play games on your phone and stream to your TV and, whatever else you want to be doing. Starlink. Before it gets there, it takes a couple of days to get there. And she's all excited for it, but she's like, if it works. Every time she's like, well, I'm excited to get the Starlink and see if it works. I'm so excited to get the Starlink, but we'll see. Always there was a but we'll see if it works, or if it works. Like that's that level of pessimistic right there. Just a layer of like, a hot buttered biscuit, just that layer of pessimistic layer on top of it.
Grease it on up.
And I finally looked at her one day during this and I said, Mom, it's gonna work just fine. You got to put out in the universe. Your words carry weight. And if you continue to say this, it's not going to work. And it's going to work just fine because there's nothing wrong with these, pieces of equipment. And so it comes in. She's like, okay, we'll see if it works. I said, Mom, stop. And she's like, oh, it's going to work. That's what I'm supposed to say. Yes, that's what, live in the world of that it's going to, not if it's going to. Yeah. Like, so finally we got it all set up and, it's working. She went from 5 download speed, so 5 megabytes download speed, to 125 megabyte download speed. So she jumped up 120 megabytes in her download speed, which is just like, a rocket for her, like a little lady on a rocket. But so we get it working, and she's like, well, now if it doesn't fall, if it doesn't like stop working, I was like, Mom. And so anywho, this was majority, we get it up, it's working. Then she goes on her trip. We use it with our rooms, with Metaverse and everything. It works whiz bang with Metaverse. She gets back.
Not just with Metaverse, but it works with 4 computers. 4 computers, 4 phones, an iPad, and then live on TikTok.
Yeah. And so she gets back from her travels, and we're there for one more week while she's back. And she's like, "So the internet did really good for you guys?" I said, "Yeah, Mom, didn't have any problems at all with it. Not once, never, ever, never, ever, ever." And I was like it, like this. That, guys, by the way, the internet was the one main reason why we didn't go home often to Idaho to visit, was because we run a business that's online. You heard 4 computers, 4 cell phones, 2 iPads, actually, when we go omnipresence. And so we have a lot of technology that pulls a lot of internet. And so that was why we couldn't go up there, because the internet sucked and we just couldn't run our business from there. And so she's like, "So now you guys have no excuse not to come up, and my internet's rock solid." I said, "If it works," remember? She says, "Oh, it's working now. We're all good." I said, "Okay, Miss Pessimist, I'm so glad that we got you over the if it works." But she talked about that when we, had dinner one night, was just the fact that those are just life things that have happened. And then if you don't kind of be aware of them, or aware of that they're at play all the time, you just kind of get stuck in thinking in a way of being. So pessimistic and
the negative chatter,
skepticism was a survival mechanism for her.
The negative chatter that we all have, that we have to be aware of in anything in life, and especially when you talked about that, right? I'm pretty sure Leah, was pessimistic about our biz in a box, right? Of, oh, is this going to work? What is this going to do? And now,
or unsure,
and unsure. And now that she has it, she's probably like, "Damn, why didn't I get this a long time ago?" Right? And being able to understand how it works for her, and that's where a lot of people are in their business right now.
Especially when you make an investment into your business. You're
yes,
like, "I'm going out on a limb to invest into my business."
Yep.
Is this going to work?
Is this going to work?
This back to what Mama Stella does.
Yep.
Is this going to work?
Is this going to work? Will this work for us? And speaking of pessimistic, we encourage you guys to all come and join us for our masterclass, Santa's Secret Sauce: How to Boost Your Holiday Revenue, on November 2nd and November 9th, that you can come and join both of these master classes and be a part of it. You can join us for one time, right? Or you can join our Pivot membership. And check this out. In this masterclass, we're going to show you how to craft your actual, branding and marketing and things of that sort for your services and products that you should have going for the holidays. It shouldn't be to where you're caught with gravy and dressing on your, on your chin or on your shirt. Thanksgiving, be like, "Ooh, I don't have a Black Friday sale," or "Ooh, I don't have a holiday sale," or "Ooh, I don't have a Cyber Monday sale," or "Ooh, I don't have, a different type of holiday, a Thanksgiving sale," right? Even with Halloween, you should probably have a Halloween sale going. And so this is where we're going to show you how to do that. Then we're going to also help you with the flyers and the creation and the actual structure of how you should promote it. Not only that, we're going to show you how to implement AI and use AI to build out the videos, build out the social media, right? Really be able to help you and show you how to do these things on the 2nd and the 9th, where you can come and listen, right? Just on the 2nd. And then on the 9th, you can come back after you've digested that information and then ask questions. And the great thing about this isn't going to be on no crusty, dusty, old Zoom where you got to be on camera and give me that fake cheesy smile, or worry about somebody going into your background or anything of that sort. I want to post this one post on social media. I think I'm going to post it on TikTok. It's definitely not LinkedIn appropriate, where this little girl is sitting there in her school for her Zoom, and her mama walks up behind her smoking a cigarette, but I think it was more than a cigarette, and her mama dashed and smashed out of the Zoom picture. And that's a prime example of why, you guys joining us in the metaverse is so much more beneficial, where you don't have to worry about all that stuff, and you get to engage, you get to be able to communicate and collaborate with people in this 3D immersive environment. Because I'm telling you, when I have up, I should have Tara take a picture of this, of, whether I want to be on this 2D screen or whether I want to be in an interactive, environment hold on, an interactive environment, of being able to tell the difference between the two of, the actual metaverse or this 2D screen where we're all on, this PTR, the picture you have where have a mic button, a mute button, and that's just getting old for me, especially those of you that are joining us, in our metaverse and listening to this amazing conversation. And so come and be a part of this amazing event. Like I said, it's a one-time fee of $27. That's easy peasy breezy, right? We're not charging 75. We're not charging 97. We're not charging 100 and some bucks. Anything of that sort. It's literally a meal, a fast food restaurant meal, especially those of you in the States. Oh my goodness, a huge, eye opener for Tara and I was the raise of prices. I mean, you might as well go sit down at a meal other than actually going to fast food.
That were cheaper than fast food meals.
Yeah, that part. And so, or join our Pivot membership where it's $27 a month. Not only will you be able to get access to both days, but you'll get a personal conversation with Tara and myself where we'll help you personalize your plan. You'll also be able to promote your business in our November 22nd live Hello QVC event that you'll be able to have Tara and I, really do an actual, conversation for you to showcase your business, talk about your business, talk about your holiday sales that you promoted. And it really is going to be playing not only on the 22nd of November, we're going to be playing this all the way through the holidays. So this allows you all to really understand creating a holiday sale is not just about making money. It's about promoting your business, promoting your brand, and being able to be omnipresent so people know about your business. So come January 1st. You know what? I really didn't pay attention to what Leah had going, in the financial strategies. But you know what? I've had my champagne, I had my fireworks, and now I'm really ready to get serious in January. And I remember Leah having, this amazing event. Let me go back and talk to Leah. I remember Lisa talking about something that she had, during her holiday sales. And, I want to go back and I want to talk to Lisa because now I'm serious. And so this is something that we help you all understand, that bringing and promoting your business, especially in this holiday season, is so important for you to be able to engage and build your community so much more. And so pick whichever one you want to join us on, and definitely press the button and come and learn about this information. So we're going to teach you, show you, or do it for you, and really be able to expand your horizons on, why you should be you should be promoting your business at the end of the day. You got anything to add to that, Love?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the simple fact of push the button. A lot of times we think, oh, yes, I want to do that, but we don't know where to start. We don't know how to do it. And the beautiful thing about that is you can push the button and join the masterclass and come check us out. It's simple, $27. For one-time access to the masterclass. Or you can join our Pivot membership for $27 a month and not only get free access to the masterclass, but get you already get a one-on-one with us. You'll get an extra one-on-one private meeting with us. We will build your marketing plan for you. We will help you with the design of the flyers and show you how to do that. And not only will you get an extended 20 minutes of the QVC, because we're going to do a QVC the Saturday before Thanksgiving. We will be doing a Hello QVC in our Metaverse and showcasing everybody and all of our Pivot members and all their services and their products that they sell. So that way we can help them also have an amazing holiday marketing plan and see that revenue come on in the door. So check that out at the Hello LLC. You guys can find the button there. Then there is more information on our Business in a Box. By the way, our Business in a Box is a smart link. It just works for you instead of you having to work for it. Did you know that, Mr. Jones?
I did.
I created it for him. That's why. He's the first original customer, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that part for sure.
Are you
I need
part
this.
of the Pivot membership?
I am.
think, yeah.
I am.
Are you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm definitely part of the Pivot membership.
So, well, with that said, we welcome everybody and thank everybody for being here today. It's been a great conversation about, expectations, going from pissed off to peaceful. And that is really down to you. It is how you choose to see things, how you choose to process things, how you choose to communicate with things and others, and then how you choose to handle yourself after it has happened. Where are you going to live? What are you going to give your energy to? And coming from two individuals that used to get all wrapped up into, the rafters over stupid things, not only between each other, but in life and work and business and all of those friends and family, it just comes down to, is it worth your time? And my mom always says, is it going to matter in 100 years? Well, to be very frank, it's not going to matter in 100 years because most of us are not going to be here in 100 years. So it's not going to matter. So be able to manage your expectations so you can keep a level of peacefulness, because one of the greatest gifts you can own, is being at peace within yourself. And when you're at peace within yourself, there's nothing else like it. And I say that from the bottom of my heart, as David and I have journeyed to, peaceful existence within ourselves. It took a lot of work for us together and personally. And so, a lot of grace for just ourselves. A lot of me extending a lot of grace to myself and to other people. And that's why we create rooms and spaces like this to have a conversation. So with that being said, check out our masterclass. Check us out every Tuesday. It's on Wednesdays. Tuesdays is our how-to Tuesdays, where we're pivoting and conquering the future, and hacking the future is really what our name of the room was, but I forgot what it was, so I had to throw in some extra fill words there. And last but not least, our amazing brain candy, sweet treats for the soul every Wednesday. And catch us Thursdays for our Hello Pivot. And again, check out that masterclass. Let us help you. Let us share with you what we've been able to do over the past that has been able to boost our holiday profits, so that way we're not going through a time. By the way, people are out there spending money. Don't get it fooled. They're buying things. And so don't you talk yourself out of them not buying your stuff. So with that said, you know the drill. Love,
kindness,
and integrity.
but most importantly,
commitment
and
consistency.
And until next time, toodles!
Thanks for being here, guys. So great to have you.